Vlog on a blog. Tomorrow's news today. Get to the truth. Listen, learn, live. Visit us at yadaya.com.
Hey, well, welcome to the Vlog on the Vlog. It's good to have you back, Noah. If we have you, like routinely, we're going to have to get your avatar up there on a page like with Dr. Jeff or something. You're going to need to demand representation on the intro.
You don't want to scare the kids. You don't want to scare the kids. Better keep my avatar off. Yeah.
Well, you'd be like so many of the others. You're featuring about as many hairs on your head as we have, and much of the crowd.
Yeah, I lost them early. Yep.
Yeah, lost them early. Yep.
Yeah.
Fortunately, it's the one thing that I still have some left here.
Yep.
The weird thing about this particular post is that Trump, who is a sexual pervert, he's engaged in pedophilia and rape, and he actually was on a talk radio show, television show, where he was sitting next to like a 14-year-old Ivanka, his daughter. And he was talking about her in sexual tones. Look how hot she looks. She's so sexy. Yeah, I'd like to do her. And so he was talking about having sex with his 14-year-old daughter. And so what we have now with Natalie, the Dear Fuhrer's Ava Braun, is incest by proxy.
It's disgusting. Yeah.
It's just disgusting. But incest by proxy, that's what we're witnessing now with the dumpster. There's nothing that he won't stoop to doing. And if you read this Sycophant's letters and notes to him, she is really way over the edge in terms of an unhealthy relationship with a very unhealthy man.
Yeah. I think we have a clip later on where they first meet, and it was, gushing staged. Is the word. It's
yes, staged. Yes, yeah. We'll introduce that when we come to that post.
It seems there's no level of depravity that this man is willing to stoop to. I am shocked. Well, I shouldn't say shocked. I should be used to it by now, but.
Yeah, and it's important that we keep on harping on this because we were the first to recognize that he is the person that Christians know as the Antichrist. He is the Satan incarnate, Rahab by the Yahweh's prophets. That when you study each of the prophetic portrayals of the arrival of the great betrayer, he is Donald Trump at this time. There is absolutely no question that this is the incarnation of Satan that the prophets have warned us about. And the very fact that we've come to recognize it and that he will betray Israel and the world, and that we're witnessing it with every aspect of his life today, it's really important that we continue to harp on this. And it's not just because it is one of the great discoveries ever, but it is also because he betrays Israel. And yet at the moment, Israel, even after having been betrayed by him over and over again and showing that he's satanic and having him so vividly depicted throughout the prophets with all of his characteristics, they still view him as if he were a messianic figure in the second coming of Cyrus. So, it needs to be drilled into Israel's mindset that the man that they think is protecting them is the great betrayer.
Yeah, well, Satan has a type. Go ahead, Noah.
Satan has a type. And the thing that's quite obvious here is that he is very similar to Muhammad, who engaged in incest, who engaged in pedophilia, who was a rapist and a sexual pervert, and an egomaniac and a psychopath. So Trump is very, very similar to a man who admitted he was demon-possessed in Muhammad. And he is very similar to Hitler, the same kind of unhealthy sexual relationships that we know that Hitler engaged in. So this is Der Fuhrer and the rise and fall simultaneously of the Fourth Reich. This is an essential element of our time, and it's going to play out graphically and brutally and viciously over the next 7 years.
Yeah. I mean, he's so welcomed over in Israel. They're going to welcome him there when he's done destroying America.
And they know that he betrayed them in the memorandum of understanding, completely checkmated them, such that there was no option, no wiggle room, no recovery for Israel. Totally complete. And the vice president of the United States, with Trump's blessing, is renouncing Israel at every opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But at least he's a happy pervert. All right. So this particular video, and you can play it. I just probably mute the sound on it as it's playing. But in this particular video, what they're showing is that what they're claiming is Hamas, and I'm just going to say is Muslims, used the hospital that was funded by America, Europe, and the United Nations, and that was under the auspices of the United Nations, UNRWA. They used it and the funds and the facility to torture Gazan Muslims. Long before the Israelis showed up after the brutality of Muslims on 10/7, that hospital was used to torture Gazan Muslims to make certain that there was no rival to Hamas.
Wow.
Pretty astonishing. Well, not astonishing. It's Islam has been Islam. It hasn't changed in 14 years.
Islam. Yeah.
We shouldn't be astonished, shouldn't be surprised, but you're taken aback when you realize that the West can continue to fund and embrace a religion that is this disgusting, this horrible, this vicious. But it's always been the case too in Islam that Muslims torture, rob, abuse, kill, rape far more Muslims than they do non-Muslims. And so while they have been vicious to non-Muslims and killed 250 million of them, probably enslaved an equal number over the 1400 years of Islam, the fact is that they have been far more vicious towards Muslims than they have non-Muslims.
Yeah. I just saw recently, I guess, Dearborn, Michigan is turning into quite the Muslim home front.
Mm-hmm. Michigan,
the
Wisconsin, the same thing's true. There's places in Florida where that is true. It's really getting to be pervasive in a number of places in the United States where they are Islamic enclaves. And, fortunately, America doesn't have sufficient time for Muslims to take over the country, even with the Democrats promoting Marxist Muslims, which is, that's an oxymoron there if there ever was one. But there isn't enough time for them to get any serious influence in America politically, because America is going to be destroyed economically long before they rise to power. It's destroyed militarily, destroyed in every which way by Trump. It's only got 7 years left, and it's decaying at a very rapid rate. But if it had more time, Muslims would likely destroy it. They couldn't. They can't conquer it, but they can destroy it. It's like so much of the world that they colonialized. They destroyed it. They were parasites.
Yeah, I wonder. I understand that they're not going to have much power politically just because of the time frame. I agree with that completely. I wonder with the pieces that are left as the economy collapses, and we have, for lack of a better term, the balkanization of the U.S. City states, that sort of thing. Islam is very, very prevalent in prisons, and so whenever those prisons open up because of lack of funds and whatever, that you're going to have very, very violent Islamic,
there's a possibility of that because of the 8th surah of the Quran says stealing is lawful and good.
Mm-hmm.
And the Quran, murder is the highest calling of a Muslim. So rape is approved. Pedophilia is acceptable. So really the most heinous things that people can do, including lying, are approved by Allah in the Quran and Hadith. So the more America moves towards anarchy with the collapse of its economy, the more you're going to see Muslims acting like Muslims, and it will be bad. And of course, it's the prophet Zechariah who says that 2 out of every 3 Jews are going to die in this 7-year period. 2 out of every 3 Jews can't die if the death is limited only to Jews in Israel. And since 40% of the Jews worldwide live in America, there has to be a jihadi killing machine for Israelis or Jews, I should say, in America. Particularly with the concentration of them and the easy identification of them as part of the Haredi cult in the Northeast, New York, and New Jersey.
Yeah.
So here you have Benjamin Netanyahu being promoted by Robin, who was actually a fairly decent pro-Israeli account, but she's swallowed the same toxin that they all have now and has become a useless mouthpiece for Israel's destruction. She is reposting Benjamin Netanyahu line and saying for nearly 4,000 years, the land of Israel has been the homeland of the Jewish people. It's always been our home. It will always be our home. If you don't know your own history, why do you expect people to believe you? The truth is quite different than that. Israel is actually a naming convention. It was applied to a very specific Babylonian. In fact, a really creepy fellow, Jacob. One day, Jacob was purebred Babylonian on his mother and father's side, and his grandfather and his grandmother. He was as Babylonian as you could possibly be, purebred. And the next moment, he's renamed as Yisrael. So it is a naming convention. It is not an ethnicity. And you need to know that. It's an important naming convention, but it's a naming convention, not an ethnicity. Second, that this occurred 3,860 years ago. Now, that's close enough to say nearly 4,000, except there was no Israel then. There was a naming convention for individuals to be known as Israel, but there was no land of Israel, no state of Israel at that point. And that would not actually occur for quite some time. As a matter of fact, Israel as a nation was manifest when Israelis foolishly voted for King Saul.
Against Yahweh's advice.
Against Yahweh's advice. They rejected Yahweh for King Saul. And that was not 4,000 years ago. That was 3,000 years ago. And that was if you want to brag about that, that was not only a complete rejection of Yahweh and a disastrous move. Israel as a united nation only existed for 100 years. And even then, during most of it, you had the favorite son, Dowd, as the object of a assassination plot by the elected leader. So it was a house divided, and it was only for a very, very brief period of time that it was a united kingdom, and for only 33 years was it a united kingdom with Jerusalem as its capital. But even then, when it was a united kingdom of Israel under Dowd with Jerusalem as its capital, you have the Absalom rebellion. And half of the nation went to war with the other half. And so it wasn't even a united kingdom at that point. And then it's turned over to Solomon, and he was good for about 15 minutes. And then he started marrying pagan women. And 15 minutes is an exaggeration the wrong way. But he, within 20 years, he was gone. And Israel was no longer a united country in just a matter of moments after his death. So Israel was only a country for 100 years, and that was 3,000 years ago. So you can't say always, and you can't say 4,000. And so all you really have is Yehudah. And of course, Yehudah ceased to exist many times over the years. And on top of all of that, once you know that there is a Yehudah, you know there are no Jews. So their Jewish people only have a history of from 1650. There were no one on earth was called Jewish or a Jew prior to 1650. And it happens to be a legacy of the King James Bible that condemns Jews as the killers of the mythical Jesus. So that's not really a very good place to take your name, is it? And to take that name, you have to erase Yahweh's name. So you've rebelled against him yet again. So in this talk here, by not knowing your history, not knowing your God, not knowing your own heritage, you've made a mess of things. You've just done nothing but showed that, Robin, you don't know, that Netanyahu doesn't know. And what did Yahweh say about not knowing? What's the consequence of his people when you are in this condition and you don't know?
Yep. Right.
You are destroyed. So you think that Yahweh's an idiot and doesn't know your fate because you are so unknowing? You're so ignorant of your own history. Because you don't know it, you're going to be destroyed. That's what's happening. And this man is leading the charge to destroy you. And now you're promoting him, Robin. Why would you do that, Robin? You're smarter than that. You should be better than that.
Did we determine, do we think Netanyahu is in the League of 10 Nations that align with?
No, because he's got to be betrayed. But is it a remote possibility that he's included in them? I guess, but he's a proxy. He's of Trump, and who knows who is going to be. By the time you get to that point, who's going to be in power? I mean, you've got Netanyahu, who's could never form a government today. Couldn't even come close to forming a government today. That doesn't mean that he's going to lose, because his opponents have a tough time forming a government too, because of the voting bloc of the Haredi being so counter to Israel's interest. So will he even be a prime minister a matter of months from now? Then you look at a bootlicker like Macron. He has about 10% popularity in France. He couldn't be elected right now. You look at Ed Mertz in Germany. He couldn't get reelected right now. You go throughout the European countries, and I'm not sure there's a single one of them that'll be around. And there'll be Muslim nations that Trump, for monetary reasons, would include in his kitchen cabinet. But the problem with that is that they're really under a lot of stress at the moment. They're about ready to be buried. And so who knows what's going to come out of this Iranian war. So, well, I have picked what I think are the 10, with 3 or 4 in the iffy category, and the backups. As the world sits now, going to be very different 4 years from now.
Right.
Oh,
right.
for sure.
That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah.
And how can a guy with a name like Netanyahu, be so wrong about these things? If my name was
Gift of
Nathan Yahoo, right? I would be telling everybody
that we are Yehud. I would be. That's what I would be doing. And I'd be saying Yehud is a compound of Yahweh's name and Dod's name, and Dod is our eternal King and our Messiah and our Savior, and Yahweh is our God. And I would be telling everybody that I represent Yehud and Yehudim. That's exactly what I would be doing. But he is not. That's why he is. He's a demon. He is so caustic to Israel's survival that I'm disgusted by the Robins of the world who should know better, who continue to promote those who were destroying the Jewish state.
I wonder if the rabbis even pronounce his name, huh? Hard to pronounce his name. Do they say Netan Shem?
No, they are willing to say parts of it because there must be 500 names that you have to say that include Yah or Yah-O or Yo or portions of it. So you can't mention like the prophet Yashayah or Zachariah or Yirmiyah. You can't mention any of these prophets. Yoel, Elia. You can't mention any of them without including Yahweh's name. So that trying to erase Yahweh's name from their lives is one of the dumbest moves ever, because you can't speak the language without it.
It's just ludicrous. I mean,
how do you even say Haya, the verb that is the basis of Yahweh?
Right. Yeah, I never understood that. I don't. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you can't.
You have to.
It's not understandable.
No, it's not.
It's religion.
You have to.
It's religion, not logic.
Get rid of reality to have your religion.
It's religion. It's religion, not reality.
Speaking of
oh my God, I think I have 2 or 3 of these, but this one it may be the one that is the winner. This is the foot of this woman. First of all, the woman is nothing but a con job, and the likelihood that even this is the woman that they think it is, in fact, even the likelihood that there was such a woman is pretty much nil. But they're going to play with her skull and with her foot. So here's the Catholics playing with her foot. They're dipping her foot in water, and by having the water run into that basin, then everybody is clamoring to get a sip of that water. They're going to sell that water and drink that water as holy water. And it's going to be, see all these people around there, look at them fighting to get in. See, they're going in there and they're taking it and now drinking it, and they want to put their soda cans in there and their buckets in there and their pitchers in there. And they're the guy with the pitcher. Oh my God, I got me some holy water here, man. It was dripped over an old foot.
Dead foot necrotic water. Oh my gosh.
Religion is a mini stupid thing. So who is this woman? They called her Saint Agatha, and her sainthood isn't over anything she said. There isn't a single word from Saint Agatha. So did she write about who Yahweh is and how the Moedim are fulfilled and where we are on the timeline, and that Dod is the Messiah and the Son of God? Did she reveal something that was like helpful for people to know? Nope.
I'm guessing
not a word.
No. Yeah.
Not a word from Saint Agatha. Nope. The rumor on Saint Agatha is that, well, first I should back up and say the whole Christian martyrdom thing is part of the religion. It's interwoven into the religion. The Romans had no interest in martyring Christians, none. In fact, it got so bad that if you actually read the Roman history of this, they got so tired of Christians trying to get them to martyr them that they would say, here's the rope. You go hang yourself. You want a knife? I'll give you a knife. You want to do yourself? Just get away from me. You're a waste of time. And so the Romans had no interest whatsoever in martyring Christians. They had a lot of interest in martyring Jews, but not Christians. And so this whole book of martyrs, and it's all fabrication. And the reason they fabricated it is because the religion has no credibility. There's not a single contemporary eyewitness account of an alleged Iusu Christu. And of course, there wasn't a Jesus until 1650 CE. So the religion has no credibility. And of course, even then, the caricature of said Jesus is nothing but a product of identity theft. So since there's nothing credible, they want to make the religion appear credible by showing that people were willing to die for it. And if you're willing to die for it, well, that must make it true, or it makes the person willing to die for it an absolute idiot. Take your pick.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you want to believe that a religion is proved true by martyrs, then you're going to believe that Allah really is a god and Muhammad was a prophet, because there are Muslims all around the world that are willing to die to get the rewards of the Islamic brothel. So it doesn't prove anything other than stupidity. But nonetheless, with weak minds, martyrdom is something that people think is a validation of their faith, because there's no logic behind it. So they imagined 90% of it. And the parts they didn't imagine, they perpetrated their own crime. So in this alleged sainthood miracle, Miss Agatha was approached by a Roman who wanted to have sex with her. Now, why would the Romans say, "Hey, you're a troublemaker. You're the kind of people we're persecuting as scum, and I have the ability to have sex with any classy Roman gal that I want. I've got all of these slaves that are my slaves that I can do anything I want to, and yet, nevertheless, I want to pick a lowlife that is part of what we are doing as a empire that we are allegedly martyring, and I want to have sex with you." And her great victory was, "No, I must remain a virgin, so I will not have sex with you, so I can remain a virgin." And he allegedly decided, "Oh, well, then if I can't have sex with you, I'm going to carve off your breasts." Almost like he was giving fodder to what Muhammad would later write. And then we're told that to make her a saint, that Saint Peter came and he visited her in her prison cell, where she had the little flat chest at that point, but he healed her before her death. Now, why would she die if he healed her? And second of all, she was 3rd century, and old Pete, he would have been diddly-eye dead in the 1st century. But nevertheless, it's a really cute foot that she has there, and they're going to put her skull inside of a contraption that they've all got for her. So stay tuned. We've got more posts of Saint Agatha. But the bottom line is here that religion is a mini stupid thing.
I saw one presentation of this ceremony where they were putting the skull inside of the Virgin Mary's head. I mean, it just gets
oh yeah,
weird.
well yeah,
we've got that. It's next.
Oh yeah,
okay.
I think that's next. Yeah, okay.
Just bizarre.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm so glad they're doing it with medical gloves, aren't you?
Yes.
Yes. That makes me feel so much better that it's medicinal, because I'm sure the last thing you would want is for her to, catch a germ and get sick and, like die or something. Wouldn't that
At least we know
tragic?
what's in the box now. It's a head.
It's a head.
Oh,
Yeah, they took her head. Yeah, they took her head and they put it in a box.
Ugh.
And he's going to go kiss the head. Watch this.
Yeah.
Yep.
Showing off the skull. Yeah.
I hold up the head. See, the blessed head.
You can't make this up. I mean,
I was just going to say,
I'm gonna
even
put
as
the
a work
blessed
of
head
fiction, it's nuts.
inside of the graven image.
This is hard to make up. I mean,
Yeah.
This is so bizarre.
Yeah, it's just creepy. Religion is the creepiest thing ever. And of course, now she's the patron saint of women who have breast implants and women who have cancer, breast cancer. and she's the patron saint of women who are raped, and she's the patron saint of that is the closest to the Blessed Virgin Mary, who is the Mother of God and the Queen of Heaven, so that they could have Easter all per the Babylonian religion. But the Babylonians weren't this queer. I'm here to tell you, this Roman Catholicism is far weirder and more repulsive than any aspect of the Babylonian religion.
Takes it to a whole new level, doesn't it? I mean, obviously she's the patron saint of skulls in other people's heads. I mean, it's just weird. Yeah.
Patron saints of OnlyFans accounts. I mean, this is just, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yahweh says specifically, don't touch dead bodies, and if you do, you're dirty for 7 days, man. You know, it's
and he says, don't make religious images and don't be religious under any circumstance.
Yeah, it's.
They just don't see.
Oh yeah, we're gonna parade it. We're gonna parade it down the street. Yeah, there we go. Oh my God, if I can touch, I just get near it. I'll near it. That's so godly.
All their religious artifacts and
yeah, there it is, and the skull is inside of there now. You can't make this shit up.
No, you can't.
Christianity is dumber than dumb. All right, there,
all
sir.
Need now is a big silver giant vagina to stick a head into, just like the Muslims.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, there we go. On the Kaaba. Yeah, there you go.
Well, what is it?
The black stone. Well, the black stone's all fractures. The black stone's having a tough time. Allah's cracking up. So this is a picture of, they raided one of Zelensky's cohorts, and this is what $1 billion in stolen wealth from the EU and the US looks like. These the Ukrainians have been grifters for a long time. It's the most deplorable cultural climate in all of Europe, and that's saying something, because you got a lot of really skanky people in Europe, but Ukraine is the worst, and the Ukrainians are doing what Ukrainians do: the graft and theft, and here's $1 billion stolen from the EU and from the United States, enriching the thugs that are now yanking people off the streets, old men, boys, and sending them to die as cannon fodder for the West. You should be so proud if you're an American.
Wow.
So
trunk loads of cash.
Yeah. So they raided a facility that had this cash laying around. Is that what happened?
What happened is that we don't do audits on anything. We send money, and we don't have a paper trail. The Department of Defense doesn't even have an audit system. No accounting system. No inventory system. It's just a black hole. You throw money to. When we were in Afghanistan and Iraq, we flew in C-17s filled with U.S. currency and just handed out pallets of it. And most of what is happening with Ukraine is just pallets of funny money of U.S. dollars and euros. These are U.S. dollars are just sent to them. And there is this mentality in the U.S. Congress that if you're sending them money, you're helping them. No, you're sending them money, you're enriching the thugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's no accountability, no credibility. But anyway, the U.S. found that one of Zelensky's co-conspirators was stealing the majority of the money that was going through his hands, as opposed to a minority of it. Someone like Zelensky that has access to all of the hundreds of billions that have gone into this proxy war, he only has to steal 10%, and he's a multi-billionaire 20 times over. But the lower level guys have to steal a majority of it, and because he stole a majority of it, he got caught, and so he was arrested. They went into his office and his home, and there's car, and that's where they found all the stolen money.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great point, right? I mean, you talk about foreign aid, and the foreign aid just goes to enrich the dictators or the small coalitions that keep.
Look what happened with all the money that was given to Muslims in Gaza.
Yeah. right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not surprising. And then we
And
wonder
that-
why we have so much inflation when
Right,
you're,
and
you're
the
just
heads of
printing money
Gaza,
and giving,
right, the heads of Gaza, as they luxuriated in Qatar, were worth billions of dollars.
Yeah.
And the U.S. didn't learn the lesson. They still thought that sending money was a sign of compassion, and all they're doing is enriching thugs.
Yeah, right.
You know, this is another dreary day in Ukraine. Those aren't clouds, that's smoke.
Mm-hmm.
And it's smoke from more of Ukraine going up in smoke. And the reason is that today politicians are at a complete loss to understand cause and consequence. You do something, there will be a consequence, and they don't understand unintended consequences either. So cause and effect and unintended consequences are things that they do not ponder. And we're witnessing that now. And, you know, what is Iran now? It's a rump state. They have no access to resupply. They have no means of making money. They have no means of even making their weapons. They have no power. Their water supply is now corrupt. What's left?
Mm-hmm.
Their locomotives were all Russian. They've been destroyed. They have no air force.
Yeah.
All they have
What's
is
the-
cheap drones, which they make, in the little houses, and the drones that they get from the EU.
Makes you wonder what the point of all this is. I mean, what's this? Is
Well, there was no point of it. It's
There's no
United
point.
States started a proxy war 20 years ago, so they
Yeah.
could steal Russian assets.
Yeah.
And that's the reason
Yeah.
why we replaced the Shah in Iran, was to steal Iranian assets. It's what America does. And
Yeah.
we started this proxy war for that purpose, and it blew up in America's face.
Yeah.
And apparently the Ukrainians can't even leave. I mean,
No.
otherwise
Well,
there would be.
Half of them have. I mean, half of the
Well, that was
population of
early,
Ukraine is
yeah.
gone.
Yes.
Yeah, half of their population is gone. So they lost half of their population to either sending them off to die on the front lines, or they said, we want no part of this, and they left. So obviously, the reason that half of them left is that the last time there was really a fair vote in Ukraine, they voted for a pro-Russian government, and then America deposed that pro-Russian
Mhm.
government. And once America did, those who were pro-Russian left.
Mhm.
And so half the country's gone.
How do you function in a society like this where you're getting bombs dropped on you? You don't go to work, obviously. You
No.
have a
you
hard
go to
time
work.
finding
Can't-
food. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, their warehouses are gone. Their means
Yeah,
of
what do you
distribution
do?
are gone. Electricity production is gone. Do you see any lights on in any one of those buildings?
No.
Oh,
And it's
no.
still dusky. No, not a single light.
No. I just
They have no.
It's like a total collapse of
Heading
society.
into winter, they have no means of generating heat.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No means of
It's awful.
distributing. Means of distributing food.
But I guarantee
And
Zelensky
no
is
more
doing
men
just
to fight.
fine in his house. He's probably warm and air
Oh,
conditioned and yeah.
Absolutely.
It's always the people that get the worst
Screwed.
of the wars. Yep.
What else do you have there, sir? Oh yeah, here.
Close up of the skull here.
Yeah, this is. Yeah, you can play this just because this is really. It's just so creepy. And look at she has a face on this one.
It's
Mhm.
like a
That
horror
night.
movie.
That I think she's a blonde, isn't she? On that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's straight out of a horror movie. Yeah.
It is. Oh yes, let me bow to it. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh man.
I'd like to set that up against Yahweh's second statement on the first of the two tablets. Thou shalt
Mhm.
not be religious. Thou shalt not create graven images. You shall not be associated with anything that is a depiction of of anything that is being used religiously.
Oh,
Don't
Yep.
do that. And then saying the father's parents, actually, because it's both. It's male father with the feminine ending makes it parents. Parents corrupt their children to the third and fourth generation.
Yah shouldn't even have to tell you to not do any
Be
of this
religious.
goofy stuff. Yeah.
But still, the second
It should be
statement he etched in
automatic.
stone. Yep.
Right.
And
Yeah.
well, the first statement was, "My name is Yahweh. You're not going to exist with any other gods in my presence." So Jesus Christ would completely condemn every Christian.
Yeah.
Just the name.
The fact
And the
that Yah
second-
has to explain it so vehemently on a constant, it's amazing to me that he's even willing to deal with us at this point.
Yeah,
I
well,
mean,
he doesn't like people
it's-
very much, but he does want
No.
people to be without excuse, and he does want us to prevail in the end, and at least have a remnant.
yeah.
So out of billions, we'll have thousands.
I think he's very comfortable with just the family that we have right now,
The
because
the 2.5 billion Christians, they are not salvageable. The 2 billion
No.
Muslims, they are not salvageable. The billion Hindus, not salvageable. The billion Marxists, not salvageable. The billion conspiratorialists, not salvageable. So you've taken, what, 8 out of 8.2 billion people, and you've already made it impossible to reach them. So,
Yeah.
we'll do pretty good as a percentage of the salvageable people.
Mhm.
Yeah, the number says a percentage of the total population will be, negligible, but amongst the people that are potentially salvageable, we'll have a pretty decent result.
Yeah. Well, I've been convinced for a while, and I know you've talked about this. I know Kevin has too. That this teaching here that we're learning right now from you, this is for the family that's moving on. I mean,
Absolutely.
it's not for these people would never. Anybody here at this festival would.
Wait till you get a load
couldn't
of
possibly
of
comprehend this.
a comprehensive analysis of the statements that Yahweh etched in stone. It will it'll take you up a notch. That is for
Yeah.
darn sure. Well, that will take you down to hell. A correct, amplified, and explained presentation of the 10 statements will take you to heaven.
Yep.
So here's the dumpster. This is Glenn Dyson, and he is saying that Trump's economics make no sense. What Trump is saying is that interest rates only go up when a nation is weak, and they go down when the nation is strong. No. It's first of all, when it's bonds, it's called yield, actually not an interest rate. It's called a yield. And the yield on a bond is based on the same things that run all economics, called supply and demand. The United States has increased the supply. When you increase the supply, you devalue that asset. If there was if you were a community of farmers, and there is one tractor for sale, and that's the only tractor, you're going to pay whatever you have to pay to get that tractor. If there are fewer farmers and there are 1,000 tractors, you can probably pay $1, and somebody's going to say, "Yeah, please take this piece of shit. Nobody else wants it." And so it is supply and demand. If you increase the supply, you have devalued that asset, and so we're in a position right now where America has grossly increased the supply, such that the currency isn't worth much of anything. And because we now have a track record of consistently increasing the supply, if you buy a dollar at a certain price and you're paid back in dollars 10 or 20 years later, after somebody has messed with the supply by 5 to 10% every year, and now they have to mess with it by a big margin to pay the debt, then what you're being paid back in is worthless dollars. So that's you're putting $1,000 in, but the $1,000 plus interest you're getting back is really worth $500. So you're being raped.
30 years, it's yes.
30 years, it wouldn't even be
30 years, it's
$500.
$3.
It's $3. Yeah, it's nothing. And so this is the issue, and the fact that the United States has weaponized the dollar. We weaponized the dollar in Iran with Russia. We've weaponized it with China. We've weaponized it with India, and And so once you've weaponized your currency, nobody trusts it anymore. And once you've proven that you can't repay your debt, you are certain to default. Why would somebody want to loan money to somebody who is certain to default? And the United States is certain to default.
Mhm.
Now, Trump got rid of the last Fed chair that he actually appointed because he would not lower interest rates. And Trump demanded it. And now interest rates are going up. The yield on bonds is going up faster than any time that we can remember. It's now back to the point of the last recession in 2008,
Mhm.
and there's no restraint on it. And at the same time, inflation is going up because we don't have a buyer for the bonds. Japan was the largest buyer; they're a seller. China was a large buyer; they're a seller. The EU was a large buyer; they're a seller. Once upon a time, Saudi Arabia was a large buyer; they're a seller. Russia was even a buyer. And of course, they're not anymore. So without buyers, what the US can do is to increase the monetary supply to create the money that is pretend money that is used to buy the bonds that nobody wants. So by doing that, what you're doing is you're devaluing your currency so that you have to have even a higher interest rate on your currency because of the fact that you're devaluing it. So it's a death spiral. And at this point, at 5% on $40 trillion, you're adding $2 trillion a year to the debt, even before you have the deficit and income versus expenditures, which is almost $2 billion. So at this point, we're adding $4 trillion of debt to the deficit every year.
Yeah, and you say buyers like they have a choice. I mean, let's be honest. The American military exists so that we can strong arm everyone else into using that currency. Bretton Woods exists so that we can strong arm everyone. If they even had a choice, they wouldn't be buying them in the first place, right?
Well, now
I mean,
now they
and
have
that's
a
what
choice.
BRICS is. That's what
now
BRICS.
they have a choice. BRICS, yes, and America caused BRICS to happen, and this guy has ruined it. And here we have a president here that claims, and the MAGA believe that he's this great businessman, and yet he's an ignoramus when it comes to debt. I mean, a complete ignoramus. This whole speech here is utterly stupid.
Well, and from his point of view, if we have lower interest rates, it means we're doing great. So we must be doing great, right? That's the whole scam.
Well,
of him.
no, because interest rates are going up, so it means we must be doing shitty. So
but we're not. See, all this money's flowing in. That's what he's trying to say.
No, but you don't get it, Kevin. Interest rates on yield on the U.S. Treasuries are skyrocketing upwards. He made a speech that says when a country is healthy, they go down. When a country is weak, they go up. They're going up at an unprecedented rate. He's admitting that his country is screwed. He's admitting that he fucked America. That's what he's admitting.
Yeah.
That's how stupid
by trying
he is.
Oh, yeah.
No, by tying an increase in yield to the health of a nation, he has demonstrated that and acknowledged that he has screwed America, that interest rates were very low when he came into office. They have skyrocketed. And as a result of that, by his definition, he has screwed, blued, and tattooed the American economy. Congratulations, idiot. You just confessed to your crime. But you're too stupid. And your MAGAs are so stupid, they don't even know what you just confessed to. Or that you're an ignoramus on basic economics. This economics is not a complicated thing.
Yeah.
And yet he is clueless.
Yeah. It doesn't really matter because he'll just blame it on Biden or Kamala or Hillary Clinton or whatever other Democrat.
So if that's the case, then why has the debt risen more under Trump than anybody else?
Right.
If that's the case, why were interest rates lower under Biden than they are now under Trump.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And he can't explain it. He just
Trips on his own tongue.
Yeah. He
He'd
doesn't
trip on his
care
own
about
dick.
explaining
He'd
it.
trip on his own dick, but it's not big enough.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh God. The religious are just so utterly stupid. So this whole thing is Jesus forgave the adulterous woman. How could you be that stupid? I mean, really, you've gambled your soul on a religion that you don't even know your own religion. This gets right back to the post by Robin on how great Netanyahu was in saying that the Jewish people have had Israel as their homeland for 4,000 years, and none of it was true. Do you know when the account of Jesus forgiving the adulterous woman was written?
It's even after Eusebius. It's
Well,
oh my God! Eusebius was in the 4th century. It was written in the 8th century. You know, there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of manuscripts of the book of Yahuchanan that predate the 8th century, and not a one of them has any part of that section of the dialogue with this adulterous woman. Not one. And all of a sudden it shows up in texts someplace in Asia. And they like it so much. Oh, well, we'll put that into the rest of it. That line, oh, we without sin throw the first stone. That's a real beauty. We like that one. It was made up in the 8th century.
Yeah.
And Jesus didn't exist until the 17th century. And oh, by the way, if said Iusus said this, then he would not be the Messiah, because he'd be lying about what it says in the Torah.
Mm-hmm.
Every part of it was wrong. There is a way to forgive the adulterous woman. It's in Numbers 5. And it isn't about telling the audience, he who was out guilt cast the first stone. It's about the sacrifice of the Adam of Parah. And so if you actually knew what you were talking about, you would cite Numbers 19 and Numbers 5 for the cure and understand who the players are that are going to deliver it. But you're too stupid that you quote a line that was written in the 8th century, 700 years after the non-fact, after the myth was originally conceived by Paul.
Yeah.
So how could you be that stupid? And as for Muhammad, stoning isn't something that was ever done in Arabia. Never. Lashing is what was done in Arabia. The Quran speaks of lashing a woman who is accused of by one man of being adulterous. And her reply means nothing. She has to get 4 men to vow that she was not adulterous. And if she cannot get 4 men, she gets just 3 or 2 or 1 or none, then her defense is her confession. And it's by flogging. The only reason stoning has any mention is because rabbis sold Talmud readings to Muhammad. So even that part is damn embarrassing. So
Reminds me
faith
of
under pressure, you have bursted under pressure. You are a numbskull that has no clue what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. Reminds me of the witch trials, right? All they had to do was say that you were a witch, and then you were burned at the stake, right?
Oh no, they
you have no defense. It's like
they tie you, put a weight on your feet, and if you don't float, then you're a witch. And sometimes they had them such that if you lived, then you were a witch, and if
Still
you didn't live, well, then we made a mistake, but you're dead anyway. Most of them were actually done that way, so that if you died, well, we goofed. So sorry. God have mercy on her soul. And if you lived, well, that was proof that you were a witch. So now we got to really go after you.
Yeah, religion has always hated women. That's any chance they can get to kill them, rape them.
Yep, that's true.
That's what
Yeah,
religion
we're gonna
does.
have some of that tomorrow. We're gonna have Miss Leia is going to be the
Mhm.
co-host, and she's already picked some of her topics. Of course, they're going to be women's issues, but we do that. We defend women.
So if this story has any legitimacy at all, which it obviously it doesn't, but if it did, you would think that people would understand that the adulterous woman would be Israel, right? Not some random woman that
Correct.
Jesus came across, right?
That requires way too much thought, and the rabbis don't even go there. And the idea of comparative religion. So our religion is better than your religion. So our religion must be true, and your religion must be false, because we can cite an example in our religion that's better than your religion.
Right.
That's why I never once partnered with a Christian when exposing and condemning Islam.
Yeah.
Yeah, my lie is not as bad as your lie. It's pretty funny. The Chinese are mocking America. You can play it. It's pretty cute. We don't have sound. I don't know why.
Do you not have sound?
No.
Hello,
Oh, we do now.
it's
Hello.
me again. Fancy another round of investment? It's risk-free for me. See?
Wait, you just borrowed new money to pay the old bill?
We call that refinancing.
How are you still getting loans? Shouldn't your financial situation have gotten you blacklisted by now?
Well, everyone needs my dollars, and my IOs happen to be denominated in my dollars. Convenient, huh?
You're getting close to the debt ceiling. Maybe you could put something back?
Are you crazy? These are urgently needed.
I know what your priorities are now.
And if I hit the ceiling, I'll just move the ceiling, like I always do.
Who's gonna handle the debt finally?
Relax. Just kick the can down the road. Future Eagles will handle it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Where did the Chinese get Alec Baldwin's voice? I mean,
I
that
was going to ask
is
the same thing. Yeah.
Pretty clever. And of course it's true. In fact, the cartoon understands finance better than does
better than the
Donald
president.
Trump.
Yeah.
So they did have to make the eagle much smarter than Trump, though, for the little cartoon to work.
Yeah. Can you just see Ava Braun, Mr. President, sit down? I want you to watch this this a minute and 20-second presentation.
Yeah, you'll
here on
understand.
the
You'll
economy.
understand economics a lot better.
Yeah.
Because I
And
like
you
tanks.
saw-
I need more tanks.
Yeah. You saw
Yeah,
all
they
the
might
all the
take-
toys he had were all weapons. You know,
I need more
yeah.
tanks. I need more airplanes.
Yeah. More
Urgently
airplanes, more
needed.
jets. Yeah. More war machines for killing. Yep.
Okay, sir. Oh, so Dr. Malouf is a smart man, except for the fact he's a Christian. So he's also a comparative religion sort of a guy. But what he likes to post is to have a Islamic cleric say "Death to America, death to Jews," and the problem with that is it's anecdotal. That is the one argument I will never ever promote. I'm wholly opposed to anecdotal arguments. An anecdotal argument is to say, I know a Muslim, and that Muslim is a decent human being, therefore the religion must be decent, without any knowledge of what the Quran and Hadith say. And the opposite is also true. A Muslim says, death to Jews, therefore the religion must be horrible. No, anecdotal evidence is a waste of time. It should not even mention it. If you want to be effective and you still want a little video, then play your video and then copy and paste any one of the many thousands of "we kill you" citations from the Quran and Hadith as they are presented in the 4,200 pages of goddamn religion. It isn't that hard. Do your job. Prove your point. Then use evidence and reason as opposed to being anecdotal.
Mm-hmm. A good Muslim is someone who has died for Allah, and the next best Muslim is the one that is waiting to die for Allah, right? I mean, it's
that is correct. And the worst of all Muslims, the hypocrite, is one who is not willing to kill and die for Allah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can't just die for Allah. You have to kill. You have to be killing while dying for Allah to be considered a good Muslim. So there are, according to the 8th surah, there's only two kinds of Muslims: those who have died killing for Allah, and those who will die killing for Allah. And the hypocrites are those who are not willing to die killing for Allah.
Yeah.
And yet there's billions of them that just
billions of them believing absolute immoral
this
rubbish.
Yeah.
The worst
Just
book ever written.
Crazy.
Yeah. Prove that the book is vulgar. You're a doctor, for crying out loud. Stop it with the anecdotal stuff.
Yeah.
This is pretty cute.
People are saying we spend too much time together.
Let them talk.
I wrote you something. A letter, 14 pages.
Wow.
Single spaced.
I won't read it.
There's something I have to tell you, and it changes everything.
Whatever it is, we'll face it together.
It's the generic ballot. We're down 4.
Oh, I thought I got you knocked up.
She's
The
onto
world
us.
burns.
She doesn't understand what we have here.
What if she asks where we go at night?
Tell her Iran.
But when you have a prostitute
good,
that is upset with your
Numbers
cheating,
aren't beautiful.
Right.
You know
when
it's
a
bad.
prostitute
Yeah.
is upset with your cheating, boy, life has really gone south for you. Oh
Beautiful.
my!
Yeah.
The
Will you
head
still
tweeter.
want me?
The numbers better be hot.
As the world burns. All right, that's pretty
great.
clever, Don. I got to give you a thumbs up for that one. As the
Yeah,
world
that
burns.
was pretty good.
Days of their lives. Okay, so here we go. Is we're told, according to Duke Medical School, that being punctual is racist. Now, I've always told you that I'm not a racist, and I'm not particularly punctual now that we're trying to do all of these things simultaneous. I used to be really punctual. I'm not quite as punctual anymore, although we're doing a pretty good job of the 11 and 5. Sometimes, like today, I sat right on down at 2 to 3 minutes in advance, and then we had some technological hiccups. But so the best way to prove that you're not a racist is to have no consideration for other people. And if you say you're going to be someplace at a certain time, completely disregard that. Let them down. Have no respect for their time or their lives. And if you have no respect for anybody else other than yourself, then you're not a racist. Okay, sure.
This is just crazy. Yeah, I don't even know.
Stupid people in stupefying places.
Yeah. It's hard to make sense of something like this. I don't know where people.
Well, of course,
come up
you
with
can't make
things
sense.
like this.
That is the point. It's not sensical.
No.
That is the point. So here you have one of the premier universities in the United States, and they are now promoting that being punctual is racist.
Yeah.
So
and-
stupid is as stupid says.
Anything somebody does is racist at that point. Then anything, if you are causing someone else to have to do something, that's racist, I guess.
Oh yeah, of course. You're a racist unless you're a Marxist and you divide everything up by race. Boy, this is again. It's important because Donald Trump is impersonating Adolf Hitler, virtually every aspect of his life, and just here are some of the unbelievable things that this woman writes to a man who is a genuine piece of shit. This is a man who is Satan incarnate. So she is absolutely fallen for Satan. I want to get back to that synergy where we talk about everything and nothing. Pillow talk.
You're the Alpha and the Omega, the all and end all. What would I be without you? It's and then I like this part where we've got a little. There's a little bit of theism in here and somewhere. Oh, and please, when I fail, will you tell me? You have the absolute right to cuss me out if need be when I deserve it, because no one knows or cares about me more. Dude, that is a psychological condition right there. Seriously.
Oh, of course.
I mean,
of course. She's got it
joking.
bad.
There's a serious.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. That's it's
I've heard of brown nosing, but good grief. This
good grief. Yeah, she is the epitome of brown nosing as the head
holy
tweet.
smokes.
The head tweeter. See, Leah wanted to do women's issues. We're doing women's issues here.
Right. We started with two women. We had and the world burns. There's nothing more feminine than as the world burnt, right?
Soap opera. Yeah. So here, this is Trump running for president in his first term. And he's having this interview where he says, nobody knows debt like I know debt. I'm the king of debt. I know everything about debt. And then he's talking about that U.S. debt at, I think it was $19 trillion, and how it's at $19 trillion because the Democrats, Hillary, knows nothing about debt. I'm the one that knows a lot about debt, and it's out of control. It's about ready to kill America. And so what you need is a president like me that understands debt, and we'll get this debt under control. And oh, by the way, there's another. So, and now it's $40 trillion. It's more than double that, which means that he was in a complete another fraud. But there, and you'd think that if you were a MAGA and you heard this and you saw what he had done, that you'd stop respecting him, stop promoting him. There's another line in here. It says, I know all about debt. When when you're in trouble and you have debt, what you do is you refinance on such a way that you give the person that gave you that money half of what they gave you. So that's what he's saying is that there's no problem. When you
just screw over your
debt
creditors.
Crisis, you just screw over your creditor. You give them half back of what they gave you. That's how
you just
it
say,
works.
hey, the economy's not so hot. I'm going to give you half. I mean,
I'm going to give you half. Yeah. Now we're back to $19 trillion in debt. In a few years, I'll have it back to 40. We'll play the same game again. We'll see how stupid you really are. Yeah, go ahead and play it. It's just because.
Her face. She just can't believe he just said that. Yeah,
I call myself the king of debt. I'm the king of debt. I'm great with debt. Nobody knows debt better than me. I've made a fortune by using debt. And if things don't work out, I renegotiate the debt. I mean, that's a smart thing, not a stupid thing. And I made a fortune.
How do you renegotiate the debt?
You go back and you say, hey, guess what? The economy just crashed. I'm going to give you back half. I like that for me. I don't like debt for the country. I like debt for my company. But I don't like debt for the country. For the country, we have $19 trillion in debt. It's going to be very soon 21 trillion, not billion, $21 trillion in debt. And I will tell you, we are sitting on a time bomb. And Hillary Clinton doesn't have
it's now
a
gone
clue.
off at 40 trillion.
And President Obama has pretty much doubled the debt since he's been in office.
It's always the other party.
Yeah, pretty
Somebody's
much
gonna pay a
doubled.
big price
Okay,
for
and
that.
what did I just do?
Yeah, it's always the Democrats. Yeah, they're responsible for everything.
God.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Just gotta. Hey, you're gonna take half. It's
Okay. Well, every bit of this was evil. I mean, this was really evil. This was a completely immoral man. I'm going to screw my creditors. The people that were kind enough to loan me money, I'm going to screw them. That is what this says. And it also says that 19 trillion in debt is a ticking time bomb. It's devastating. I don't like debt for the country, and it's been doubled. So The one thing that stands out in this, though, is if you were to compare that speech to something that Trump has said in this term, what you would notice is that Trump has gone from immoral, a thief, a con man, to a blathering idiot.
Yes.
These are, well, what he is saying is maniacal. He is talking in complete sentences, and everything he is saying is related to the point. He can't do that today.
Yeah.
So you just listen to the difference and the ability to process information and speak. So he, as I said, in his first term, he was egomaniacal. He was a narcissist. He was grossly immoral, but he wasn't demon possessed. In this term, he's demon possessed. And that's the difference in these two Trumps.
Yeah. I think bankruptcy has been a staple of his economic plans for a long time also. I think anytime he goes, he just files bankruptcy.
He made a fortune. What he inherited from his father, who was a slumlord, if he had just put it in a mutual fund in the stock market, he'd be worth twice what he was worth.
Yeah.
So he didn't make a fortune.
The man bankrupted casinos. There is no other meme other than that. I mean, the house always wins. It's people know that, you know what I mean? It's like saying that I don't know, he ran the IRS and lost money. It's
yeah.
All right, so this is the Bank of England, and the Bank of England froze Venezuela's gold, essentially confiscated it. And who knows why Venezuela's gold was in Bank of England, other than it serves as collateral if it's there to borrow dollars to engage in trade. And even though it belonged to Venezuela, the Bank of England, which is like everything that is English, they've been thieves. I mean, England has been thieves for well over 1,000 years. Global thieves for over 1,000 years. So they seized it. And now Big Daddy, the ultimate slumlord and the godfather, has told England, that's my money. I stole Venezuela fair and square. That's my money. Send it to me. And the Bank of England is sending Venezuela's
31 tons.
31 tons of gold to Trump. We've become a nation of thieves.
And
always thieving,
not to the United
never
States,
achieving.
not to Fort Knox. They're sending it to Trump, just like the oil. I'm right. It's
it's the oil revenue from Venezuela goes into a Trump bank account in Qatar.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
it's
like
hard to believe that the world is this upside down, but it is. Satan is in charge.
It's like crime bosses paying tribute to the
and of course,
crime boss.
what in the world are you going to do with money? It's essentially worthless. I know, I understand why he wants the gold, but it'll be worthless too.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have something to trade it for. The gold has no value. So here again, this is another one. This is Kosher, who was also an intelligent poster, but they've just all doubled down on around the man who is destroying them. And it says here, the Kosher, Benjamin Netanyahu has always been right about everything. And yet they've been played. There is, in this case, it's the one time where he actually mentions Islam in this speech, but he calls it radical Islam and extremists. There is no radical Islam. There are no extremists. And this is the same man that 99.9% of the time will talk about Fakistinians, and he'll talk about Hamas and not Islam. And he doesn't know squat about Islam. And he does business with Muslims all the time. Mm-hmm. And so his ignorance of Islam, the Quran and Hadith, and Kosher's ignorance of Islam, the Quran and Hadith, is the very ignorance that will destroy them. And so rather than being right, they are not Sadak, they're raw. They're wrong. And the thing that causes them to be wrong is their collective ignorance. And yet, while Israel has been raw, wrong, and ignorant for a very, very long time, 3,000 years, they pat their own back and tell the world and themselves just how wonderful they are. They think that they're righteous when God says, no, you're despicable. Yeah, they're continuing. This is why it's going to be a miracle of God to find a couple of thousand Israelites that'll be part of that remnant at the end.
Couple olives, just a couple olives.
Just a few olives out of 15 million people that we know of. It's going to be single-digit thousands.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because of this mentality by the koshers, believing the politicians that are destroying them, believing the religion that is destroying them. I'm sorry, but you're in real trouble.
They've spread that.
Kosher is part of the problem. There's, you go through the 10 statements that etched in stone. There's no mention of dietary laws or kosher food, not one. And that was the primary thing that caused rabbinic Judaism. Is they said, the Torah doesn't really say much about what you can and can't eat, and therefore, if you're going to be kosher, the only way to be kosher is to have rabbinic laws, and they justify their Talmud for filling in the void that is there in the Torah, not recognizing that the Torah was never about food.
Mm-hmm. Or obedience or law or,
yes. Yeah, the very fact that there's no mention of a cross or a phylactery. There's no mention of belief or faith. There's no mention of Judaism or Christianity. There is no mention of a New Testament or a Talmud. The very fact that there's no mention of a church or a synagogue. There's no mention of prayer or worship. And there's 10 statements and not a single reference to any of those things that are the basis of religion. And yet the second statement that got etched in stone is overwhelmingly and vehemently anti-religious. And yet the religious claim that their religion was based on it. It's just stupid. But Netanyahu is the same.
List of things you can't do.
Yeah, Netanyahu, God would say exactly the same thing about Netanyahu said about Saul. By choosing him, you have rejected me. And that's true of you, kosher. By choosing him, you rejected Yahweh.
Yeah. They've been very successful at keeping Islam isolated from, by just saying radical Islam, they can separate and make Islam still good.
Or call it Hamas, or call them Palestinians, or ISIS, or call them Hezbollah, or say it's the mullahs. That the problem is Islam. The problem's been Islam for 1,400 years, and if you can't say it and you don't know it and you can't make a case for it, then you should just shut up and stop making a situation worse by talking about the man who has destroyed your country and saying that he's the one that's right. Yeah. Because I can assure you that because of you have done that, Yahweh views that you have rejected him. And you have. Kosher. Okay, so
I don't know a lot about the stock market, but that don't look good.
What they're saying here is that the bond market is what prices everything. Money is priced based upon the bond market, and you use money to price stocks. So the foundation of it all is the bond market. It's not the S&P 500. And across the world, the bond market is imploding. And the worst case is Japan. The second worst case is the United States. And it's literally imploding. And interests are going up yields are going up very rapidly because nobody wants to buy them. There are no buyers. And so when there are no buyers and you need enormous amounts of it, in the case of the United States, you need 4 trillion every year for the new debt, plus another, 2 trillion for the new debt you've generated, and 2 trillion for the interest on the old debt. And so you need 4 trillion a year, plus much of your debt is in 1 and 5-year bonds that are short-term bonds, and you have to refinance those bonds. So every year you need something like 7 or 8 trillion dollars of new buyers, and there's not even a $500 billion of buyers. I'm not even sure there's $100 billion worth of buyers. There are no buyers, and you need upwards of 6, 7, 8 trillion annually just to be solvent. And the only way to solve that, and it can't be solved, is that the way that you kick the can down the road is you destroy the value of your money by inflating the monetary supply and using the illusion of that money to buy what people won't buy, what nations won't buy, which is your debt. And when you do that and you inflate your money supply, you make your money worthless. And under that basis, then you need to raise the interest rate on the yield on your bonds. And when you raise the yield on your bonds, then you need to sell more of these bonds, which people will view as ever more worthless. So it's a vicious cycle, and you can't get out of that cycle. And that's the cycle that Japan and the United States are in right now.
Yeah, it's just going to be interesting.
Nothing they can do with the 20 and the 30-year debt. All America is doing with it now is they're refinancing the 20 and 30-year bonds with 1 year and 2-year Treasury bonds. Short term for the long term. That is a complete admission of we're in a death spiral and we have no clue what we're going to do. And there's not even buyers for those. And the interest rates on those went right up.
So they just fired up the printing machines to buy them all back to make it look
yeah.
like
And of course, we talk about printing money. They don't actually print it. They just increase the money supply.
Yeah, right.
And so the Fed, who increased the money supply, will use the money that they created out of thin air. It's just digits on a computer. And they will use that money to buy the bonds, and the interest on the money that they created from nothing, that wasn't their money, they get paid the interest on.
How do you get that gig? How do you get that gig? In Shamaim, I'm telling you right now, I want that gig. Okay,
you want that gig? I don't think you do. I think you want that gig. No, that was. Have you ever read the book, The Creature from Jekyll Island?
Jekyll Island.
Yeah.
Oh yes,
that's the story of that gig. If you want to know how that gig came into being, it's It's a pretty monstrous story. And of course, that story now is so very old, and it's back when the debt was in the billions of dollars, and it was irresolvable then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they have a little Qatar problem. Not only is Trump into the purse of Qatar, but Witkoff got bailed out of his Park Lane Hotel fiasco by money from Qatar, because specifically Qatar was looking for Americans that had access to politicians, in this case Trump, that they could bribe. And so Witkoff was salvaged from bankruptcy on his Park Lane disaster by Qatar for the express purpose of buying influence with Trump. And then they started doing deals directly with Trump in the many billions of dollars with Trump and family. So these guys are both hugely compromised. And so this is this idea that they want to somehow work out a solution with Qatar, but both of these guys are compromised, is what Noah Berg wants to say. And Trump wants to punish every country who financially helps the Islamic regime. That's his new thing. I'm going to be the toughest economic penalties in the history of economic penalties. And what he's basically saying is that I'm going to have more penalties on anybody that does business with Iran. And we'll talk about that in just a moment. But the fact is that Qatar is probably the number one Iranian proxy in terms of playing with Iranian oil and monies and funneling monies to the Iranian regime. So if you betray Qatar, you've to somehow punish Iran, then you've further inflamed the Arab Sunni fiefdoms that are the basis of the petrodollar, and you've destroyed your own economy. So you can't play that game.
And the guys that gave you a jet.
Yes, well, the worst part is that Qatar announced yesterday through their foreign minister, formal address, sat down, TV cameras on, the foreign minister of Qatar, and he said the war has to end. We can't sell our gas, and we were 20% of the world's supply of gas. The world can't buy our gas, and that's devastating for the world. It's devastating for us. There's only one solution, and it requires Trump to go back to the agreement that he signed on the Memorandum of Understanding, which of course is a surrender document for the United States, and for us to abide by the agreement that is being reached between Iran and Oman, pursuant to the management of the Strait of Hormuz. That is the only solution. So Qatar is saying, we're off the Trump bus. We're agreeing with Iran. The Memorandum of Understanding, which is surrender for the United States and removal of the United States from the Middle East, and the payment of war reparations and giving control of the Strait formally to Iran, is the only solution at this point. That's pretty bitter, man, when that was your chief ally.
Yeah, that's not good.
By the way, the Iranians have changed their position slightly on the Memorandum of Understanding, and they've now done this with a full vote of their parliament. And that is that the previous agreement had the pacing and the mechanism for repatriation of the stolen wealth of Iran that is returned, and the war reparations that would be played out during the negotiation period. Now it is all up front or no discussion. All up front or no end of the war. We don't trust you anymore. It's all up front or nothing.
Do you think Iran will take U.S. treasuries? I got your 27 billion. It's on the way. It's, you know what? We owe you. So how about 14? You'll take half, right?
We're printing it right now. One piece of paper. And then we'll dock it by half, and then half again, and half again. And what the hell? It was worthless paper anyway.
Right.
But you need toilet paper.
What I want to do is I just want to kind of set up the line to see if it's going to be Friday before Trump comes out and says, hey, we got it, because we're no longer talking to him. That was yesterday, right?
Yep.
Yesterday we're no longer talking to him, where it's the strongest economic sanctions in history that we've ever hit him before, right? And so I'm just wondering if it's going to be Friday or Monday that we've got a deal, everything's going to be fine. Is the line? Yeah.
And of course, then we'll get the slide on the toughest sanctions in history. Not a single one of the sanctions is on Iran. It's on who you are. You know who you are. I don't have a clue who you are. But it's not Iran. The sanctions are not on Iran. Sanctions didn't work on Iran. Sanctions didn't work on Russia. Sanctions didn't work on anybody. Sanctions just don't work, nor do tariffs. And so you're repeating what failed, and this time we're going to be the toughest ever by having non-sanctions on people that I don't know who they are, but they know who they are. So that's going to work.
Anybody that would like to be sanctioned, please step up.
Because you know who you are.
Yeah, because you know who you are. Yes.
It's hard to imagine anybody takes this guy seriously. They do. This is just so sad. This is one of the Ukrainian. You can't call them recruiters anymore. They're kidnappers. This guy took this woman's husband,
dragged him out of her home. I mean, she's no spring chicken. So dragged him out, and he's just, I don't give a shit. You know?
Well, and it was not the dude's got blood on his elbow, so something happened in
of course,
in taking the
hauling him
husband.
away.
Yeah.
And so if you were kidnapping somebody and giving them no training, you put them on the front line in a war that you're losing, and you can't even defend your capital, what is the point? You just want them to die. You just want to. Are you playing the Russian game of the Russians? The Germans only have so many bullets. So if we just continue to run into their swarm of bullets, eventually they'll run out of bullets. Is that the game that you want to play now, Ukraine? That will just throw more and more young, old, feeble people on the front lines. Eventually, the Russians will run out of artillery or drones or bullets or something, and it'll all go away because that's the dumbest strategy ever.
No, there's no plan. There's no plan from the top down in it. It's all about the gravy train. Zelensky doesn't want it to stop because of the money. This guy right here doesn't want it to stop because he's getting paid per head. Every head that we bring in, we get a cut.
Yeah.
So it's
all about the dollar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That are worthless.
Picture epitomizes war, doesn't it? I mean, just horrible. Yeah.
Okay, there. Okay, so this is really myopic and narcissistic. You've got Trump talking about, boy, I've got the best granite driveway ever. And then this, we have Miracle Grow on the grass. Boy, what a great company. They donated to my reelection.
Really great company. Yes.
Yeah, the world is burning. He is destroying the U.S. economy. He has completely disavowed the Constitution. Oh, we can listen to it. It's there he is.
But let's talk about
new
front
driveway.
lawn, right?
Yeah, it's the best granite ever, and this is the best lawn ever, and it's dirt. And we're going to use a Miracle Grow because they donated to my last campaign, and they're the best ever.
What a clown!
Donated the flagpoles, one on each side. This is a great pole. This is the top of the line. It's
Top of the line flagpole.
This isn't a straight up and down job, which looks
Not a straight up and down job, man. No, it's a tapered job.
Great. I'm very good at flagpoles.
I'm really
Very good at flagpoles.
Look at this. She's laughing. She can't.
What's their premiere date? You know?
Oh, yeah. What are you going to do? Okay. Next.
Just laugh at him. Yeah.
Mock him.
Idiot.
Yeah, this is thank you for the clarification. And here I thought that the pricing of bonds and debt was a function of supply and demand, with increased supply and lower demand making the bonds less attractive. But no, it has all to do with interest rates go up when the country is failing. Interest rates go down when the country is succeeding. And so now that we acknowledge that interest rates are being ratcheted up very, very rapidly, I appreciate your confession, Mr. President. Yeah, you can play just a few sentences of it just to.
These ridiculous interest rates, they're ridiculous. Look, when our country is strong, interest rates should go down. When our country is weak, frankly, they should go up. But this country is strong. There's never been in history the kind of money coming into a country as we have right now.
He's mistaking his own wallet for the country. And since the interest rates on sovereign debt all around the world are going up, and the demand is going down, it means that countries are in a shit pile of trouble, including the United States, which is leading the charge to, boy, we must be weak, frankly. Thank you for the confession.
Yeah, things are so
MAGA.
obvious. He has to get onto TV and try to tell people that what they're seeing isn't real. That that it's not.
Well, that's
it's
all
not,
he ever's done.
It's just believe the words that are coming out of my mouth, because what you're experiencing isn't real. Yeah.
This is quite the deal here. This is the place where he introduces us to Ava Braun, the head tweeter. And he is talking about how this woman was so glorious as a newscaster. She was on a news station that is so remedial that I don't even know the name. It's 3 initials, OA something. I mean, you never heard of it.
News. Yes.
Yeah, it's you might as well call it a YouTube channel. But I think the YouTube channels have a lot more followers and listeners than that particular thing did. And it doesn't exist other than YouTube kinds of things. She was there, and I had actually loaded like 10 of her, maybe 20 of her presentations, because she never delivered news. All she delivered was Trump is great. Boy, the world's so much better off with Trump. I just love Trump. Isn't Trump delicious? Can you believe that the world would even stand a moment if it didn't have Trump? My life would be nothing if it were not for Trump. That was what she had to say. It was no news. It was, I've got Trump really bad. So now Trump wants to introduce this crazy woman to the world. And he's saying, oh, she was misdiagnosed. I don't know what the misdiagnosis was, but it was a misdiagnosis. Who knows what the misdiagnosis was? I don't know about that. But she was misdiagnosed, and she survived the misdiagnosis. And she is such a glorious presenter of the news. She just lit up the screen, and oh wow, and she might even be in the audience. Is there a Natalie in the audience? Natalie, are you here, Natalie? And she comes up, and she goes into a whole speech that she had prepared. So this, thank you, Mr. President. Now let me tell you about my misdiagnosis. It is as big a setup and con job as the assassination attempt that nicked his ear. It is. It's so obviously a setup. It's just a joke. That's what
obviously staged. Yeah.
Oh yeah, staged. The whole thing is staged. You can play just a little bit of it. You get a feeling for how disgusting it is.
The story of an incredible, unbelievable young woman who was battling rare bone cancer. They made a mistake. A doctor or hospital made a mistake. She called it it was a medical error. Her name is Natalie Harp, and she lit up the television screen like very few people I've ever seen do it. And she talked about how they were preparing her for death. And because of Right to Try, she's now living and I think doing phenomenally well. And somebody said she's here. Are you here, Natalie? Is it?
Somebody said she's here.
Will you come up here, please? Come up, Natalie.
And she just gushes and then goes on and on about the Good Samaritan story. I mean, and how Trump is it's.
Oh, yeah. She had a prepared speech. Are you here? Yeah. Somebody says she's here. Are you here? It's all staged.
Wow.
Blue dress. Huh.
Yeah, weird.
Thank you, Mr. President. We all know the story.
I know you're going to give a speech. That's why I lowered the mic.
What you don't know is I was that forgotten person on the side of the road, the victim of medical error, the number 3 cause of death under the previous administration, and left to die of cancer.
So, okay. So, if you actually had bone cancer, which is what he claimed she had, how is you getting bone cancer medical error? How are you the victim of medical error if you actually have bone cancer? I mean, you can't claim that you've recovered from bone cancer because of and your bone cancer was a medical error. If you're claiming that you had it and you recovered from it and you recovered because of a medical error.
Right.
But beyond that, this was obviously staged, and I just wanted to show it because it's how rank amateurs go about staging stuff. The freedom.
She didn't give it any time at all. She just went right into the speech. Yeah, she didn't.
Oh, of course. Oh, and he moved down, lowered the microphone. Oh, yeah. Somebody said you're here. Oh, really? Oh, okay. Gee, it's time for the speech, isn't it?
Yeah,
go, Natalie, go.
She's a horrible actor.
Yeah, and so is he. All right.
Yeah.
What do we have?
Well,
next
everything
there,
he learned from drama is from Vince McMahon and the WWF. So I mean,
Yeah, that's
Every day is like a National Lampoon skit.
Yeah.
It is.
This is play a little bit of this. It's kind of an interesting approach to condemning Palestine as a prison camp, and how it goes all the way back to it looks like that's Stalin there, and, and the Grand Mufti and the like. So, in my view, is of course with overwhelming and undeniable evidence that shows that Fakistan and Fakistanians are an ethnic slur and a complete fraud. Why would you go to this extent to take something that is this unique as an approach? I don't understand it, but anyway, it's worth a couple of minutes of just listening.
There is no such thing as Palestine, not because I say it, but because no one can prove it ever physically existed. It has no coinage, no capital, no classical literature, architecture, religion, or ethnic foundation. Its only reason to exist is to oppose the existence of Israel. It is a Schrodinger's paradox, an idea that only exists when seen and vanishes when challenged, a diplomatic fiction that became currency. The people of Gaza, Ramallah, Jenin, and Nablus are a manufactured population. Their ancestors were not conquered by Israelis, but placed there by Arab and British regimes. Their origins are Syrian, Egyptian, Bedouin, Circassian, Sudanese, Kurdish, and Balkan, brought in by Ottoman and British import drives for labor and militia recruitment. Many were criminals, exiles, or undesirables expelled by Arab states, just like the Baha'i prophet was exiled in 1868 to Akko in Judea by Qajar, Iran, to what was then the most deprived corner of the Ottoman Empire. As at that time, Akko was known as a disease-ridden prison city. After 1948,
that's
Egypt and Jordan...
That's anecdotal, doesn't prove anything. So my point was, the first part is true, but she doesn't actually offer the proof. And it's easy to offer the proof, and she ought to just stayed there. But then she wants to, it's a prison camp, and she goes into anecdotal evidence, and anecdotal evidence has no value. So I don't know the purpose of this, Addie, but nevertheless, I did want to have people hear it. Let's go to the next one there, Kevin. So this is another anecdotal thing on Islam. This person says Islam is not here to coexist. We were sent to dominate the world, to extinguish and wipe out every other religion. We are superior to everyone else. That's why there isn't a single meaningful accomplishment ever in the history of the Islamic world. There's not a single decent university there. They don't make anything there, and it's the shithole of the world, which is why there's so many refugees that are trying to leave the Islamic world. So that is what this person is saying. And again, it's anecdotal. The far better approach, Alexander Duncan, is if you want to present anecdotal evidence like this, then back it up. You can go to yadayah.com, to Goddamn Religion, and my preference would be that you read the whole book, all 5 of them, 4,200 pages of evidence from the Quran and Hadith, so it's undeniable. And then once you know it, wield that information wisely. But if you're just a lazy and you're just a dumb TikToker, then take the other approach, and that is go to the last volume and look up under fighting, jihad, war, terror, any one of these topics. And I've got thousands of quotes from the Quran and Hadith that you can present as evidence to validate your point. And then you're just not another bum out there throwing shit against the wall.
Right.
Yeah,
okay, sir.
The Quran condemns itself, so why not use the Quran? I mean,
Correct.
it's
and so does the Hadith. The only difference in the Quran and Hadith is the Hadith is much better documented.
Yeah, but like you said, it's far better, more important to understand why Islam is like that than just going to the back and throwing a quote out there. And it's far better.
He's not throwing a quote. He's
not even throwing a quote.
He has a video of somebody making paraphrasing things and with no attestation as to where the quotes that he's paraphrasing come from. That is absolutely worthless. If you want something that has merit, go to the scriptures. I mean, I destroy Islam by going to their scriptures and attacking their scriptures. I destroy Christianity by going to the scriptures and destroying the credibility of the scriptures. The same thing is true with Judaism. If you can say that I don't like a Jew, that's meaningless. If you can say that there was a Muslim that said nasty things, that's meaningless. That's not rational. It's not helpful. It's just antagonizes people. Stop it.
Yeah.
Start using your brain, please.
Yeah.
Okay, sir, what do we have next? This is the statement by Qatar. It's worth seeing. You're going to have to. Well, actually, it has a translator, so you can listen to the woman say it. She is actually going to say that the only solution is returning to the memorandum of understanding. It's going to praise the situation, the negotiations between Iran and Oman to open the Strait of Hormuz back up under, obviously, their toll system, but that the war has to end, and it's got to end on the basis of the memorandum of understanding, which he's very clear to say that was broken, and obviously he knows who broke it. So this is Qatar absolutely eviscerating Donald Trump in the United States.
And with agreeing with the MOU, saying that the United States needs to get out of the Middle East.
Yes,
they need to leave.
That is correct. That is correct. So we're U.S. is screwed on, has not only lost the war against the eastern side of the Persian Gulf, it has now lost the war against the western side of the Persian Gulf, against both Sunnis and Shia.
We watching?
Yes. I want you to listen.
First of all, regarding how to describe the region, let me confirm a few points. First, the ongoing efforts is focusing on de-escalation and ending the war. Now we are talking about an escalation that took place recently that included what happened regarding the violation of the ceasefire and the tensions at the Strait of Hormuz, the closure of the Strait, etc. So we are focusing on this issue and making sure we go back to what has been mentioned in the MOU and going back to the negotiations efforts. These are ongoing efforts, as I said, but we are still waiting to reach an agreement between Sultanate of Oman and Iran regarding the Strait of Hormuz. And this, as I said, will help us to go back to negotiations. However, we need to confirm as well that the conflict as we see it now, or the crisis, represents a threat for everyone. And we are not here implementing in a normal way what has been mentioned in the MOU. We are not implementing the roadmap as of now. However, as far as we're concerned, we continue to implement or exert efforts, and we believe that the only way to move forward is a ceasefire, the opening of the Strait of Hormuz, and going back to normal or freedom of navigation, and going back to the negotiations.
The only way to go forward is the MOU. 300 billion upfront to the Iranians, 325 more for the repatriation of the stolen assets. United States evacuates the Middle East and there's no more petrodollar. Israel is checkmated and cannot defend itself and cannot engage in any conflict, and is totally and completely left out and betrayed. Can't even engage in Gaza or Lebanon or any place else in the world. And then the Strait of Hormuz, according to the MOU, is controlled entirely by Iran. All they have to do is negotiate with Oman, but nevertheless, the Strait is controlled entirely by Iran, and they can tax whatever they want. That is what that agreement said. And there is Qatar, one of Trump's absolute favorites. And he's telling the world that Trump violated the MOU, and he needs to get back to it. He needs to end this damn war, and the only solution is in the MOU, which is American surrender.
Yeah. Surrender, and their buddies want to surrender too.
Yeah, I don't think you can get more devastating than that.
Yeah.
And of course, you have UAE is sending emissaries to Tehran to negotiate a similar kind of an arrangement. And Saudi Arabia is all over BRICS at this point. It's over for the U.S. It's lost, and it crashed its own economy in the process.
Countries are tired of getting missiles lobbed at them. I mean, they're just.
Or America making promises that it bails out on, which is exactly what the prophets told Israel would happen regarding Rahab. Donald Trump says you're going to make concessions because he's going to make promises to defend you. When it comes time to defend you, he's going to do nothing.
Yep.
And that's exactly what happened with the Arab fiefdoms on the western side of the Persian Gulf. America abandoned those bases. Those bases got destroyed. They were completely wiped out. And then America lost the war and has no solution. It signed a surrender agreement and violated their own surrender agreement. And so now he's gotten. We'll have to at least go to the point we see his post of the day. I am going to impose the greatest financial war, economic warfare than the history of warfare. It'll be greater than any economic warfare that's ever been perpetrated. And we'll get those dastardly Iranians who haven't been willing to negotiate. Well, guess what? They negotiated. You agreed to their negotiation, and then you violated it. And this is, we're going to sanction those who do any business with Iran. You know who you are. Oh, by the way, the largest, well, let's see if we can find that one. The largest business dealings with Iran are with China and Russia, both of which are impervious to U.S. sanctions.
I mean, at this point, Trump's going to go down as probably the instigator of one of the most horrible environmental disasters in the history of the world also. I mean, you're going to, all these ships that Iran is blowing up in the Strait of Hormuz. I mean, there must be oil slicks washing up now. I mean, this got to be horrible.
Yeah, you're talking about an economic or an environmental disaster in a place that essentially has no life.
Right.
So, but yes, it is certainly an environmental disaster of what's going on there. But it is a place devoid of life. We've got Kevin trying to find our. I think that one next
Truth
one right
Social
there.
Post?
I think that's that one is it right there.
Okay.
So we'll have to bring up what Trump wrote so we can see it. It's the lower part of it. Yeah, there it is. Yep. Hard for me to read at this point, but that's as big as I guess it's going to get. So it begins by.
Is that better?
Oh, there we go. Okay. So this is the Trump social post, and it is a verifiable post. This is a copy of it, but I was able to verify he actually wrote these words and posted them. Or Natalie did. No one has given the Islamic Republic of Iran greater opportunity to take a deal than me. Now it's no longer make a deal. I think that's take a deal. Well, maybe
it's
make.
It's make.
Okay, make a deal. Okay, make a deal. Well, let's begin there then, Mr. Me. They have offered you two. They offered you actually 3 agreements. Before you bombed them, they offered to surrender all of their enriched uranium, and you bombed them the next day. That was pretty stupid. Then you made a big fuss of how you've agreed to terms. Everything has been worked out. It's all based on the 10-point plan, and we've agreed to all of it. And then we did an entire show of what was in that 10-point plan was complete surrender. They go over to finalize those meaningless little details, and of course, they recognize they can't agree with any of this. It's abject surrender. Then it gets even worse. And the world's imploding economically, and now the Ukrainians say, all right, I mean, not Ukrainians, but the Iranians say, here's our deal. And it's worse than that 10-point plan. Now it's a 14-point plan, total surrender by the United States, $325 billion given to the Iranians, and the Iranians have total control over the Strait of Hormuz, and America must abandon the Middle East, which is the end of the petrodollar, and Israel can't defend itself in any theater. And that's what he actually signed. And then he violated his own agreement. the next day. So you are lying when you said you gave them a greater opportunity to make a deal. They made a deal. You agreed to it twice, actually 3 times, and then you reneged on it. Tragically, it's you who was tragic. And why would you capitalize it? For them, they have failed to take it. So what did they fail to take? Every deal that has been discussed has been the one that they have offered the United States, which is surrender terms for the United States. And it's you who have taken it twice and then rejected what you have accepted. Therefore, today I am announcing, this is all in caps again. The head tweet, it must be the Capital Girl. Most crushing economic operation ever taken against any country. So this is a crushing economic operation. By the way, if you're going to have a crushing economic operation, who are the victims?
The people, the people that live in that economy,
not
yes.
citizens of that,
not the leaders.
Right, the citizens of that country. So you're going to try to crush economically the citizens of Iran. These were the same citizens you incited to rebel against your government and said that you're going to have their back. You just keep right on rebelling, and now you're telling them, "Boy, I'm going to crush you like you've never been crushed before." That's only Satan can make that kind of a statement and put it in all caps and put an exclamation point at the end of it. This will be economic warfare, which is illegal, and isolation on an unprecedented scale. Their navy is gone, or we're back to this again. And by the way, they never had a navy. What they have is fast boats that lay mines and that act as torpedoes to sink ships, and they're working very well, thank you very much. And America hasn't even dented the quantity of them. So their neighbor is gone. That is an absolute lie. They never had an air force. They don't want an air force. What they have instead are missiles and drones, and they have more of them now than when they started the war. So that point is a lie. Their military factories are now rubble. That's not true. They are distributed, and they are buried, and they're all operational. That part's a lie. Their currency is worthless. Well, you are definitely having an effect on their currency. That is, but by the way, if you want to, what they say that you shouldn't throw stones if you live in a glass house. Your currency, sir, is also worthless. Their country is hanging by a thread, as is yours, based upon your policies, piece of shit. Today, I'm also announcing that any country that allows financial institutions, businesses, then this is why would this be also if this is his plan?
So
this
is it the planner?
It's not also if this is your plan, your economic warfare, that I'm announcing that any countries that allows its financial institutions, businesses, airports, or government entities to provide any type of lifeline to Iran will face tremendous economic consequences. Well, Iran is part of BRICS. In fact, they're now part of the BRICS Bank, which means every country that is part of BRICS is doing that. That would include Russia and China. And the last time you tried to play economic warfare with China, you got your clock clean.
I was going to say, the big C on the end.
Yeah, anybody that tries to play gamesmanship economically with China, you're done. I mean, China is absolutely insulated from any negative consequence and can deliver a blow that would bring a country to its knees. So you can't do that. And by the way, India is part of BRICS, so you can't isolate them either. Brazil is part of BRICS, and you can't go to war with all of South America. And South America is far more in bed with the Chinese than they are with you. And so that plan you cannot do because they're part of BRICS, and BRICS is eating your lunch. Oil smuggling, although you can be a pirate and you can steal tankers, but you can't smuggle oil, but you can be a pirate and steal tankers. But we don't have there's no hypocrite in the White House, do we? Swap lines. The swap lines are run by Qatar and United Arab Emirates. Those are the two that that have the black market on Iranian oil, and have for years, and they're your only remaining allies. And you just heard one of them say, "We're done with you, Trump," and the other one sent envoys to Tehran 2 days ago to say, "We're done with you, Trump." So you can't do that, because now you would absolutely crush what little remains, the thread of your petrodollar, as well as exchange houses, which is BRICS, and ship registries and front companies. By the way, America doesn't have a ship registry anymore. The next Ford class carrier was supposed to be the John F. Kennedy, and it's now more than 10 years delayed, and it was supposed to be 20% less money than the previous one because of all the prior lessons. The previous one is in dry dock for the next 2 to 3 years. We have 2 other carriers that are in dry docks just for quick retrofits, and 4 or 5 years later, they're still in dry dock. America can't even maintain its Navy, can't even keep the rust off of them, can't keep the toilets and the laundries working, can't keep them with food and sanitary goods. And you want to talk about the ship registries and what you're going to do to other countries when you have no merchant marine anymore?
Mm-hmm.
All it needs to stop now. And because I wrote now in capital letters, you better do what I'm telling you. It needs to stop now. And you know who you are. You know who you are. I don't have a clue, but you know. This will be an economic D-Day. Oh boy, I'm evoking World War II. I'm gonna do an Eisenhower on him. Pretty soon we'll see Trump standing next to Ike, and our ally, and we and all of our allies to. We need all of our allies to stand up. America doesn't have any allies anymore, thanks to you. With the United States of America to isolate and defeat the Iran threat. The rest of the world is with Iran and not with America. Sorry, but that's what you've done. These maniacs, no, the maniac is in the White House or on the ropes. Yeah, yes, you are.
Yep.
Will bear these historic measures, all in caps again, and it's going to cripple them. These measures are not against them, and you can't impose it on anybody else because you have no control over anybody else. And every time you've tried sanctions on them, including the Arab Sunni fiefdoms, you're shooting yourself in the foot. And their ability to project terror worldwide. Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. They didn't have a nuclear weapon. They're going to have one now, but they didn't have one in the past. Thank you for your attention in this matter. Now, in all caps, thank you to the head tweeter. President Donald J. Trump, my alpha and omega. And the shit that I wipe every day.
Yes. Both hands.
I'll leave you with that. If you think that is the voice of a sane man, if you think that's the voice of some who is not demonic, then you're probably a MAGA.
Yeah.
And I pity you.
Yeah, you have to be. Yeah.
You have to be. I pity you.
You
all
have
right,
to
my
be.
friends. Yeah, we're at 2 hours. No, it's always great to have you. I see you moved inside. You got a little hot, I guess, there outside there, or wherever you were.
I had an awful sun reflecting on my face, and I couldn't take it anymore. So I moved. over.
Yeah. No, I saw that. I like the fact you're making the effort to be outside. It's you can see you go outside, your hair blows all
I wish my hair blew. Yeah.
Well, that's true. In your case, you wouldn't have that problem.
No, I don't have that problem. Yeah.
No, to beat the wind. But it's a good mustache you got going there anyway.
I know. I've been curating this mustache for a while. So,
how are you guys going on your program on the words, the letters, the grammar, the insights, the vocabulary, the lexicon of Hebrew?
Yeah, it's going to be a great program. We're getting closer. As you know, Kirk is a little tied up at the moment, getting things sold. I've been busy, so Perry is is
He's making great
working
progress.
with us. Yeah, Perry's
Yeah.
making great
he's making
progress.
great
And we're going to have some
Yeah.
great shows with Perry's research, and
Yep.
once we get lined up here, we're gonna nail
Okay.
it. So it's going to be great.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Kirk's moving. He's moving into the Santa Rosa foothills. It's a really pretty place that he and Sylvia have acquired. Are you making any progress in the sale of your winery?
Yeah, as you know, so we did sell and we did move to a lot smaller place. We're still in Southern Oregon, but we did sell. And
so you're out of it. You're out of it now. Okay,
we're out of it
All right.
now. Yeah.
All right.
So
and
I have a little
what is
more
the
time.
current? Oh, that's good. All right. Well, it's excellent. Thank you, Kevin. It looks like we got a decent feed from the new Starlink antenna. We now have 2 of them. We may end up with 3 of them. We're going to see if we're going to blend them together or what we're going to do. But at this point, we do have our second Starlink account, and it seemed to work fairly decently. We'll see how things progress. But so far, so good. All right, gentlemen. Thank you.
Always great. Thank you.
Hey there, thanks for tuning in. That was Fetch. Gotta run now. Catch y'all on our next podcast.